CMD. After that, in project folder CMD Japan. After that, and right there again, code space dot, enter key. After that, you will write here npm start, npm start. I will explain. Okay, press npm start. It will take 2-3 minutes to compile.
Full name, what you write in certificate? No?
Okay, so it is compiled successfully. Compiled successfully, you can run also. Your page should run like this. Localhost colon 3000. Localhost colon 3000. So hope executed. Okay, so we'll work on that. Let me guide you. When you have learned the Ajax, some few points are there, you can make a note. Where is this Ajax folder? Make a note of that, then I'll come to the JSX part. Compilation happens successfully, page is run. So you can open the ajax.js file, and in ajax.js file, write the line below, write the line for this one. Okay, XML HTTP request. XML HTTP request is a class of XML HTTP request is a class of JavaScript used to communicate with backend. XML HTTP request is the name of a class in JavaScript used to communicate with backend. XML HTTP request is a class of JavaScript used to communicate with the backend. Now after that, on ready state change, what is that? Okay, on ready state we'll write next. First we'll write the XML HTTP.open. What is the meaning of that? Here we can write a comment. XML HTTP.open function. XML HTTP function is a function of XML HTTP class. Is a function of XML HTTP class. What you used to do? it used to generate URL to communicate with backend. So you can see in the beginning one line is written XML HTTP, and here when we have gone through the class object, you saw like we used to create an object of a class using this operator. Which operator? Using new operator. Remember, using new operator, we used to create the okay. So XML HTTP request is a class of JavaScript used to communicate with the backend. Now inside the class, what are the functions are available? Inside the XML HTTP class, there is a function called open. You can see here XML HTTP is the object of XML HTTP request class. Then it's calling object.open. That meaning open function belong to where? This particular class. And what you are doing under this function, using the get method, you are generating a URL. What is the URL? Home.html. The same line I have written here, XML HTTP.open is nothing but is a function of XML HTTP request class. It used to generate the URL to communicate with the backend. Below is the function called send. What is the meaning of send? You can write here XML HTTP.send is a function XML HTTP send is a function that send request from backend front end to backend. Front end to backend. Front end to backend. From front end to backend. So now think here. First, you created the object of a class. After creation of the object of the class, directly it went down, it generated the URL using the function called open. After that, using the send function, a request is sent to where? To this particular URL. After sending the request, what will happen? A response will come from the backend. Look at here. Now you have a next function here. XML HTTP dot on ready state change. So first what it will do? It will create the object. Second, it will create the URL. Third, it will send the request. After sending the request, at every moment, every moment in the sense, maybe every second, maybe every half second, this function will call. Which function? On ready state change function, no need to call it. It will call automatically. When? After sending the request. Because of that, it is written anywhere. It is not written in the last. It's written in between. When it will execute? Once the send function will send the request, then this function will start executing automatically on ready state change. What this function will do? This function will do like, this function will keep checking every time ready state 4 that represent from user computer request is sent to the backend. ready state 4 represent from user computer request is sent to backend and request is sent already, and after sending the request, response came or not. Response will come when? If the status is 200. If request is sent from the user computer, yes, it was sent, but response has not come. If response has not come, then this line will not execute. So this both has to be true. As soon as you click on send button or any button, this function will execute. URL will get created and the function will send the request. Then your ready state will be how much? 4 means request sent from your computer. Then request is sent from your computer to server. Now server has listened your request or not. If the server will listen your request, server will receive your request, server will send a response code, how much? 200. Saying like, I have received your request. Okay. Then it is saying like, this condition says, from user computer request is sent or not. If yes, then the status is 200 or not. Server has received the request or not. If request is sent and server has received the request, then what will happen? Response will come. Then execute which line? This line. And the response from the server, whichever will come, it will capture under this variable. The variable name is called response text. It will capture under this variable, and after that give to where? Wherever you want. That is the 4 lines of Ajax we have. Okay. In that, which line left now? None of the line. First line I explained what is that? Is a class of a JavaScript. It used to communicate from the front end to back end. XML HTTP becomes an object. Now with the help of object XML HTTP, from the XML HTTP request class, it's calling a function called open. For what purpose? To create a URL where need to communicate. After creating the URL, the send function will say, okay, URL generated, go. Means send the request. As soon as the request will be sent, then this function will start calling itself. Which function? On ready state change. The function will call itself on maybe every 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. It will keep calling and it will check. Request is sent? Yes, request is sent. Response came? No, then don't do anything. Again, it will call. It will check request is sent? Yes, sent. But response came? No. After 3 minutes, maybe after 2 minutes, after 10 seconds, after 20 seconds, the request was already sent. Response will also come as how much? 200. Then ready state function will understand, yes, request is sent, server has received the request, server is going to give the response. Now capture the response and whatever you want, you can do that. That is the meaning of first line, second line, third line, and fourth line. If you remember, then very good. If not able to remember, people will not ask anywhere to explain because expectation is different in the market. Okay. Anything else from here? Those are the server response. On internet, you have seen no 404. 404 meaning is what? Page not found. Page not found. You have seen 501? No. Once you become developer, you will come to know. 501 in the sense server has 500 and server has some error. Okay. Yes, server 300 redirecting the page from one location to other location. Okay. Similar way, 404 means what? Page not found. That response code is from 1 to 700. Okay. We will understand hi, you will say hello. Correct. Suppose you say hi, you will reply as what? Hello. Some people will reply hi also. You will say hi, some people will say good morning. We are human. Correct. We can understand the word to word, but computer will not understand. Computer need some fixed meaning. So the server code is from where to where? 1 to 700. Now what those are 1 to 700, even I don't know. Some 5, 6 only I know. Okay, what come under the term of development?
So here we are giving that this dot ready state equal to 4. So is it fixed or we can change it, or
You cannot change that.
it
Four,
it
four
means
we
it is
cannot change.
fixed, right?
This is fixed.
Sir, can you repeat?
It is fixed.
And for what is for 200? This status equal to 200. It means
Response code from the server side. Response code, success response. Failure response will be something else. Success response will come 200. Success response, how much? 200. Okay. Now come next to the close this file. Suppose I went to this website. It is under the testing Ajax now. Okay. Suppose I went here. Let me do the right click and inspect element. Inspect element. I hope the console is visible. Let me click on this. Okay, you will see here in the bottom. Okay, now let me show you. When I click on button, first button, I have called this request. I have posted the data here. In that, if I go to the headers, can you see there is a code called response code? How much? 200. When I have filled the first form, after filling the first form, I have sent the data to this location. After sending the data to this location, data received successfully. and from there one response came. That response is this one, 351400, 135140. You can see here 35140. Server has sent the OTP. That OTP is visible here. Now timer started, 46 seconds is left. If the server will not, if suppose this URL will not found, here how much will come? 404 will come. If the server has error here, how much will come? 501 will come. If the server has responded properly, here how much came? 200 came. That's what you have written inside the code. If a status is how much? 200. That meaning response has come like this. But this is the Ajax call. And what jQuery Ajax, and what is that written? That is called Ajax call. Okay. In this happen which method? Post method. Because data is secure. There it was as a get method. Okay. I have not written simply, after implementation only I have written. Okay. Let's go ahead. After that particular second, the page will reload automatically. Okay. Next, after that, let's come to the our project page. Inside the project page, yesterday what we have discussed on the JSX part, right? We have discussed on JSX part, JSX how it works, and the rule of the JSX also we have written somewhere in the developer guide. Let me open that file. The React guide one file was there. Developer guide file we have written something. We have reached till JSX. This file is of someone is 30 March. Okay, 30 March I open the folder from some other location. Yours is 9:30, I guess. 9:30 April. Okay, so these 3-4 rules we have written. Next, after that, Vidya has not made the note yesterday.
No, sir. I missed it, sir.
Hmm?
I missed it out, sir. I missed to note out.
Okay, next, after that, see the flow inside the React, what will happen. This function name is called app.js. Sorry, this file name is app.js. It has a function called app. File name is app.js and it has a function called app. Now after that, you can see here it is written called export default app.js. Okay. Two words more we have to understand, two more keyword. One is called import, another one is called export. Okay. Import word represent if you are bringing something from outside to your house, you can say imported. I'm importing. If you are sending something to someone else, you are saying, you can say you are exporting. Here also the same word. Import means bringing, export meaning sending. Okay. Now in this file, there is a function called app. App function you are not printing here. You have defined the function here. You have written the definition of the function here, but you are not using here. The function is getting used somewhere else. Okay. Anyone can call this function within the project. There is no problem. It's like a function call. Okay. In React, we have one small limitation. What is that limitation? Limitation says like, suppose you created a component in one file, that is fine. You created it well. Now after that, you are not going to use that component within the file. You will be calling the component outside of the file mostly. When you are going to call outside of the file the component, then what is that meaning is the function component you created inside the file you are going to use outside. Outside in the sense within the project anywhere. Okay. So at this place, React says like the component function is written inside the file. It is the assets of the current file. If someone want to access it, they have to import it. Without importing, someone cannot access because function belong to where? Some other file. Yes, if one function want to call the app.js, they can import it. That is fine. But we have to check at the same time, app.js file is able to export or not. It is able to import or not. If something is able to buy, then someone can. If something is able to sell, then someone can buy. If you go to the shop and they say like, okay, I want to buy this, shopkeeper will say, no, this is a sample, you cannot buy it. That meaning you cannot buy it. You wanted to buy it, but there is a restriction, you cannot buy this. Correct? Means the person is not ready to sell it. Here the word is called import. Import meaning is what? Bring it. We want to bring it, but is that able to bring or not? Is that allowed to bring or not? So export keyword, wherever you will apply, that will be allowed to import. Okay, now look at here. Before app function, what we have written in the last? Export. That meaning app function is allowed to import. Anyone can import it. One more keyword came in between, that is called default. Default keyword is from the React side. React says like in one page, in one JS file, there can be multiple functions. Okay, in one file there can be multiple functions. All function you can import, no problem at all. All function you can export. But in one page, if there is a 5 function, are you going to make any one function as a leading function? And whoever is the leading function, main function, that will be marked as what? Default. So in this file, how many functions we have? How many components? Only one we have now. One function, app. Like that, suppose there will be function called profile. There is a function called contact. There is a function called edit profile. Then out of all, which one will be the main function? That we have to mark as a default. In case if anyone asks what is the meaning of default, we can say default is those component that is leading component. That is the main component of the file. That is called a default component. There may be multiple function and other function can be the part of the app function. So app become as a leading function, remaining become as a child. Export meaning is what? Not sending the file. Able to send. Able to send. If you are applying the export meaning is what? It is able to send. You are ready to sell. Okay. Import meaning is what? Not ready to call. Import meaning is what? A request to call. A request To bring, that is called as what? Import. I'm importing something. Means somewhere I have requested, from there something will come. That is called as what? Import. But if someone is ready to give, that is called as a export. So you can say simple. Using the export keyword, I am allowing the particular function or class or file so that someone can import it. If will not mark as export, other cannot import it. Importing meaning is what? Simple, to calling, bringing. And exporting meaning is what? Allowed to call, allowed to bring, allowed to come, right? People ask frequently in interview, import and export meaning is what? So you may go to the technical word directly, or you can explain the day-to-day life also. You can say, suppose I want to bring something, that meaning I want to import it. Someone will give me, that meaning he want to export it. Import meaning is calling, and export meaning is making able to call, or allowing so that if someone can call it. Now come. So function name is what? App. But it's not function, it's called a component. Okay? It's called a component. Component is a combination of HTML and JavaScript code. HTML can be DHTML also. HTML can be XHTML also. Okay? Come now. Where this function is calling, we have to check there. This function is calling under the index.js file. Go to the index.js file. In index.js file, your code should be like this. First you see here in the beginning, this line is written or not. Maybe this bootstrap is not for you. Don't worry, I have installed earlier. This line is there. Import app in index.js file. Import app is there. .js is not there. I have written JS so that you can understand. Import function name from where? File name.js. So import function name from the file name.js. So what is the function name? App. Calling from where? App.js. / represent the current folder. / represent the current folder. Within current folder, there is a file called app.js. From app.js, it's calling a function called app. Okay. Now after that, you can ignore this line. This is mine is little lower version. Yours line will be this one. Check in your code. Something is written like this. In app.js file. No. This line, the commented code, what I have selected, check that. You have something similar. Restrict mode is for me also. React dot. Same line is written, right? It's not able to read. Will increase the font size. Check now. Visible? Now see. This line is also same. This line is also same. I have kept both the line here just to understanding better then. If you remember document.getElement by ID, suppose if you write document.getElement by ID, root.innerHTML equal to hello, what will happen? It will check in current page where is the ID called root, and inside what it will pass. Hello, it will pass. Understand by this line. Okay. Here also the same thing, but they have split it into little 2-3 segments. They have added extra, so become convincing become difficult, understanding become difficult at the first point. In this you will understand easily. Okay, this is also doing the same thing. This is little higher version code. This is a little lower version code. This line is easy to clear understand. In that render function, in your code also there is a render function. Root.render is there. Here also react.rom.render is there. Okay, a render function used to print the output in the browser. Render function, if anyone asks what is the render function, render function used to print the output in the browser. Now look at there. In render function, two parameter is there. Two parameter is there. Can you see that? First is the app and second one is what? What is that? I'll guide you. First read this line. Below line. Function name is, what is the function name? App is the function name. In JavaScript, if you want to call a function, how you call a function? You call like this only, the function name and then semicolon. But in JSX, you are going to call the function something like this. Like is a BR tag, like is a BR tag, HR tag. Okay, it's like the element. It's like the tag. So what we have used, we have not used plain JavaScript, it is called as a JSX. So in JSX, how to call the function? Like the BR, HR. Here, see, this is in the JavaScript how to call. This is in the React how to call. Now let me go up. Look at here. It is calling a function called render. Inside the render function, it is passing as an app. I will remove the app as of now. Let me write here called h1. Under the h1, I will print as a hi. Dekho aap, just don't modify your code. Just understand first. This file is not to modify. This file to understand the flow. Okay. Now see, inside the render function, what I kept first? h1 and second one is what? Document.getElementById. Now understand in different way. The first parameter is called content, and second parameter is called a location. Second parameter is called what? First parameter is called content, and second is called location. Or another way you can say what to print. What to print? The first parameter. Second parameter is where to print. What to print and where to print. Or another way you can say content and location. So what to print? H1 and where to print? Under the root. Now we need to find where is the root. Here document.getElementById called root. So it is checking somewhere in your project there should be a division, there should be section tag, there should be paragraph tag, there should be some tag whose ID will be root. So under the root, using inner HTML, what it will pass? H1 it will pass. So render function need how many parameters? Two parameters. First one is called content. Second one is root. Or you can see what to print and where to print. Okay. Now here what I have added? H1. Let's look into the browser. I will refresh the page. Printing. Hi, correct? Hi, printing. So in one project, do you think only we need to print hi? No. In one project, there will be so many functionality. Because of that, instead of writing here one single h1 tag, what it was written? It was written here a function. How it was written? It was written like this. What is the function name? Function name is called app. Function name is called app. Now, since it is the JSX, so inside the JSX, how to call? Like this. If it is plain JavaScript, how to call? Like this. So we cannot call like this. We have to call like this only as a JSX element. Okay. Now you understood clearly where is the function? Function is available under the app.js file, and where you are calling under the index.js file, and from index.js file also we are sending somewhere else. Where we are sending? We are sending to root. Now we need to find out where is the root. So let's go to the public folder. In public folder, there is a file called index.html. In public folder, you will find a file called index.html. In index.html, you will find there is a division. Division ID called root. Go to the index.html. You will find an ID for root. Mhm. I'm talking in public folder. Anyone have file? Index.html.
Yes, sir.
You both are searching in some other folder. Look into the public folders. You found the file. So where is the function? Function is available under the app. From app, where it is going? Index.js. From index.js, where it is going? Index.html. And from HTML, it will go to the browser. Understood? Because your browser is going to understand HTML only. It will not understand directly JavaScript. So browser will deal with the HTML. HTML will deal with the index.js. And index.js is going to deal with the app.js. Now app.js is responsible to bring the different pages. We will create the multiple type of pages, and all the pages we will link to the app.js, and app.js is already dealing with whom? Index.js, and index.js is dealing with whom? Index.html. Look at here. The user will come, he will open the browser. Browser is going to deal with index.html. Index.html will get the data from index.js. Index.js will get the data from where? App.js. Now suppose in our project there is a 20 pages we are going to create. All the 20 pages will deal with the app.js. All the 20 pages will come under the app, and app will apply a condition saying like user has clicked on login component, you go. Okay. In app.js file will apply the condition user has clicked on sign up, then sign up page will come. At a time, how many pages? One page. Now which page? User will decide. If user will click on login, app.js will allow login to go and display. How login will go? Login will come to the app. From app it will go to the index.js, and from index.js it will come to the index.html. Again, user will click on contact us. Then we'll have a contact.js file. Contact.js file will come to the where? App. From app, it will go to the index and index to HTML. Understood or not? Suppose in your project, the 100 pages will be there. All 100 pages you can't display at the same time. You will give the control to user. Yes, you click here. User will click, will write the condition where the user has clicked. So condition will say user has clicked on contact page. So we'll check what is the URL. Is it contact.html? Yes. Then we will write a condition contact.js file should go and display under the browser. Via what? App.js, index.js, and index.html. Okay. So it is interesting subject only if you are attending regular. So flow is clear or not? Where is the function? In app.js, where it is going? Index.js. From index.js, where it is going? Index.html. You will make a note today properly in your sys notebook, like flow inside the React. In fact, I was supposed to design a photo today. I have gone somewhere. Photo not design, will design next class. In that, people ask in interview, what is the folder structure of React? How the data flow happen? So we can say we'll have multiple pages, multiple components. All the component will deal with the app. Inside the app, we'll have a control. App will decide which page has to load. Inside the app, we'll write the logic. Yes, user has clicked here, the particular page has to come. Where to where? Particular page will come to the app. From app, it will go to where? Index.js. And from index.js, default flow. In app.js, there will be 20 pages will be there. But app.js will release anyone, will allow anyone. Whatever it will allow, that will go and come in the browser. Okay, so that will be our next class. Okay, tomorrow we have Bootstrap as usual. Bootstrap morning. Bootstrap we are attending now. But tomorrow you are going for the company. Then we can postpone the Bootstrap. 9:30 you need to be there. Yes. It is little far from Marathali. From Marathali is nearly 17-18 kilometers. Thana Sandara somewhere. Thana Sandara, yes. Huh? Thana Sandara, some T. John Hotel. Thompson Jan Thomas Hotel something. Okay, there we need to go. Address I will be sending today in the group that you can go and attend. Okay, it's kind of experience for you. You will come to know how gathering happen, how company call the people. It's kind of a presentation. Okay, it is not advertisement for us. Even it's not advertisement for the companies. Company what they'll do, I don't know. Yesterday evening, the HR has called me. He was asking how many are. I told close to 50 should be there. Okay, now how many will reach? I don't know. Okay, so but if you go, it will be very.
How many?
Hmm?
How many?
5 lakh starting. Huh?
How many course?
300 nearly. Company name is something advert something. It should be in the email. We'll send you the this one. Huh? Company, you have to go with the 2 resumes, 2 set of resume. Okay, there. What they'll do with the resume, I don't know. They will ask to submit it. While submitting, right on the top of the resume called info campus. When the final round will happen, not final round, in final will start interview. In that, one of our 2 old student will be the person who will be taking your interview.